So I have been playing through these stories in Forza Horizon 4, and I'm not going to lie, the Top Gear one really probably has been one of my favorites so far, guys. This one was so dang fun, and also I gotta admit, some of these are pretty hard, dude. Specifically, the first one you guys will see right now in the background in the Lotus. This one honestly threw me for a loop, because for some reason, I did end up following the route, and I gotta admit, if you follow the actual route in this event, I was like, bro, this is not possible, dude. Like, there is no way this is actually possible. Funny part is, I went on a Reddit and other things, and yeah, a lot of people seem to agree that it isn't possible. You pretty much have to find your own route. And the easiest way I did that was I pretty much turned around and went toward the objective that way. And I was like, if this is the first thing I have to do for Top Gear, bro, I can't wait to see what the other vents will end up doing to me. The funny part is I did end up following the main route in the first Lotus one, and I pretty much kept failing. I was like, all right, let me try going backwards. I did end up going on Reddit and different things, and well, it does turn out a lot of people are also struggling on it, and said a lot of these Top Gear events, or at least the story, was actually pretty difficult. And after that, once I did finally end up completing that, to be honest, it wasn't that bad once I turned around. In fact, it was first try and moved on, barely even beating that, guys. The next one was the BMW M. I think it's actually an M1. I almost said an M2. This one, you pretty much had to race this car to the said location without damaging it. And to be honest, that one really wasn't too bad, but I did enjoy the route on this one. I did find this really fun. Also, when I was doing this, the current event in the game, at least at the time, was winter. So yeah, that kind of made things pretty interesting racing this car in the winter time, because I was kind of sliding everywhere. But the thing is, once you did end up finally getting to that location and parking, you got to drive one vehicle I had no idea that was even in this game. In fact, I have a separate video coming on this vehicle, guys, the Tractor. This thing is absolutely hilarious, man. When I saw this in a race, I was like, what is that? I need to find out. Once I did, I pretty much looked through these stories. I found that Top Gear, this is where you get this thing from. I immediately had to play through the entire story. I also did want to play through this because I'm planning on going through every single one of them. And I saw the tractor, bro, and I was like, dude, there is a tractor in this game. Again, guys, stay tuned for the video on this thing. I cannot wait. This thing was so funny, bro. I love it. Probably one of my favorite vehicles in Forza Horizon 4 so far. Make fun of me if you want, but I like the tractor. Yeah, I'm really weird, aren't I? But for this one, though, you pretty much have to speed down the highway. And to get 3 stars, you have to do 124 miles per hour. Y'all know it's hilarious. The one that I failed before this without realizing it, I got 123 miles per hour. Tell me that's not trolly, bro. I also wasn't driving that great, so that's probably a reason why. But the second run I did end up doing on it, easily got 124 miles an hour. It wasn't that bad. It also was really fun, especially being the second part of the story. But now let's move over to the third one. So for the third one here, when I first saw this car, I was like, bro, is this a taxi? And this is not a normal taxi, dude. When I started hitting the gas on this car, bro, I was like, what in the world is Top Gear doing? Bro, I'm about to go binge watch like the entire seasons that they ever did. Like, I'm about to go watch them all, because I actually want to see some of the episodes of the cars that were in this game. You know, like the tractor. This taxi is wild. I do know for a fact, obviously, it's not stock. The speed of this thing is wild. Barely coming up to 5th gear, you're already doing 120 miles an hour. This car is just flying down the road. Has off-road tires on it as well, man, which kind of threw me for a loop. I'm like, oh, so you're that type of taxi then. This thing was not at all normal, dude. And honestly kind of makes me laugh with how some of the builds of cars are and stuff like that, because you probably look and go, okay, that thing's normal. And then you're like, oh, look at those tires. Listen to that motor. You're like, bro, this ain't a taxi. What in the world? And with that, when I was doing this event, because I realized you could skip a lot of stuff and all that, I was doing that in this one. Even though you probably don't have to, as you pretty much have 4 minutes to do it, I figured, you know what, let me go skip stuff, get to the main part, which you also have to race this car on the beach. And to be honest, I was like, okay, well, I guess a lot of players were having issues with this one from what I saw online and stuff. So I was like, all right, let me jump into the taxi, see what I have to do. You basically have to spawn onto the beach. You have to race all the way to the other checkpoint 1.2 miles away. You then have to turn around as fast as you can and get back to it within a minute and 14 seconds. So there really is not a lot of leeway there to mess up. Like, if you do end up getting to the other side, which, you know, what I did, I pretty much went past it and was like, oh, I need to go oh, I have to turn around. Then I pretty much did another run. I did end up messing up my entire e-brake situation. I was too slow and I did not make it in time. But after that, though, I was like, okay, let me redo this. I'll slow down a little bit better and then obviously end up completing it because I failed last time. But once I did end up doing that, I pretty much hit that turn, spun all the way around, went right back to the checkpoint. I did end up managing to beat this, guys. Apparently, a lot of players were having issues with this one, which honestly, I could definitely see that. People were saying the first one with the Lotus, the Taxi, then also the Mercedes one, and my goodness, I'll get to that one, obviously, in a minute. That one really threw me for a loop, my goodness. But with the Taxi one, I was happy to beat this and then move on to the next one. Also, guys, let me know, is there a way to get this car? I did not see it as an unlock. I might have to look again unless I'm losing it. Maybe it's not in there, but if it is, let me know how to actually unlock that thing. And then after that, as I did end up mentioning before, we will have the Mercedes-Benz one, which apparently this one gave a lot of players issue. And I'm going to raise my hand here and say that I was also part of the issues there, as this one did take me a good amount of time to do, guys. And honestly, the simple reason for that is I was like, okay, well, I really have to cut areas with this thing. I have to off-road, and that is pretty much the only way to do it. Also, I am also a big fan of this car, dude. I love it. I think this car is awesome. I was like, oh, this thing's not in Forza Horizon 5, obviously because it's a Mercedes-Benz from Top Gear and all that, so it kind of makes sense there. But man, I love it. It has a diesel motor in it. It's lifted off-road tires. You have like the thing on the top with like gas and tire and all that stuff. It's honestly my type of vehicle. This thing is very cool. I really did enjoy it. And I was like, all right, let me go cut a bunch of areas. And it turns out, guys, following the waypoints and a lot of these, at least the ones I have done, you really do kind of have to skip stuff. Like if you were to follow that waypoint to a T, man, I don't think it's possible at all to really beat this because you have to go all the way to the top of the mountain, which I really do love this area. Then, I thought that was the end of it, but no, you have to then leave that mountain and pretty much go all the way down it and, not taking the road, basically jumping off of it. Funny part is, in the story, the guy was like, what goes up must come down, and I'm like, oh. So yeah, I gotta drive this thing off the mountain, basically jumping it, and the funny part is, that is pretty much the only way to do it, man. But I love stuff like this. Like, these type of events, I really do enjoy them. They're different. They kind of set you up for different things, and what's kind of hilarious about these is, the fact that they really do remind me a lot of the Motorfest playlists on how these are actually designed, which is kind of hilarious, but that's kind of the topic for a separate video. But either way, guys, when I did finally get down that mountain, I was like, okay, I'm kind of clear sailing now. Even with that, I did end up following, like, the checkpoint for the most part, as I kind of feel like going through Edinburgh. Is that right? Edinburgh. I think I said that right. But either way, going through that town, I kind of did end up following the waypoint, and I kind of messed up toward the end. Luckily, I had just enough time, though, to get to the end of that, guys, and I can definitely see why players were having issues with this one. There is not a lot of room for error, dude. There really isn't. Do let me know what y'all think about this Mercedes event. Did you struggle on it? What were your thoughts? I did see on Reddit that a lot of players were not really enjoying this one that much. The next one after that, though, luckily was not nearly as difficult, and in fact, it was probably a tad more simple than some of the other ones you had to do, like the beginning taxi or the Mercedes. You drive a very fast Mini Cooper, dude. This thing was a rocket ship. I was actually kind of laughing because when I first saw this car, I got in it, I was like, all right, this thing's going to be slow, bro. I'm gonna be a turtle. But no, this thing is literally a rocket ship. Does over 165 miles an hour, and you actually feel the sense of speed with it, which is something I loved about Forza, as I do feel like the sense of speed in this game is better than something like Motorfest or even a lot of modern racing games can't really seem to get the sense of speed right. I would like to see more of that. But honestly, in this game, though, I feel like it is good, and doing 160 in this thing was honestly hilarious. But with this, guys, you basically follow the waypoint all the way to the end. You obviously could skip stuff because I kind of did that as well. The next part of it, though, after that, though, you will then have to get, like, scoring and stuff like that. And I think it's, like, I think I got, like, 270,000 points or something like that, which one time I did end up failing it twice. I did not realize to get 3 stars. I was not nearly enough there. I was like, let me go for a higher score. I basically drifted around, jumped, kind of similar to Forza Horizon 5, so luckily the skill of me trying to grab big combos on that game brought me into this one, and luckily I was able to get this one done. Honestly, it was pretty dang easy compared to the Mercedes one. After the Mini Cooper one, though, you then get to do a race that, honestly, I really enjoyed this one a lot, guys. You will get to drive a Porsche 911 GT2 RS, which back then when this game came out, this car was obviously fairly new. And it was really wild, man. Like, I remember seeing my first GT2 RS, dude, and honestly, I just sat there and stared at it. Like, it is such a beautiful car, and it's obviously crazy quick, so I was like, this thing will probably end up being very fun. You do end up pretty much having to drive through Edinburgh. I'm trying to say that correctly, at least how they would say it. Either way, I did end up trying to do this event. I think it took me probably like 5 or 6 times because I was kind of driving like, honestly, I was driving like an idiot. I was going way too fast, kind of just looking around at everything but the actual road of where I was supposed to be going. Because I was looking around in the town and stuff like that, going, oh, that's really pretty. That's really nice there. Oh, look, a snowplow. And I was like, maybe I should stop distracting myself and actually try to do this. But either way, though, after some tries, though, I did end up getting this one done, guys. It really wasn't that difficult. I just was driving like I was supposed to. And I did end up getting this one done, which honestly was very fun flying through this town in this car. I can't wait to get faster cars and level them up and really fly through the town and stuff. And honestly see how 200 something miles an hour would be in this area. After that, though, this one actually did end up reminding me of Forza Horizon 5 because you have to drive like a flatbed type of truck with a vehicle on the back of it. And the vehicle on the back of it, I think, is the lovely 6x6 Mercedes, which you obviously have to drive after this thing. This part really wasn't difficult. You kind of just follow the road, get to the location, and then you can jump into the 6x6, which honestly, I did love this truck in Forza Horizon 5, dude. One of my favorites to drive around and mess with, and honestly, I'm a big fan of these trucks in real life anyway, because they're honestly just ridiculous. Like, it's a 6x6, what, bi-turbo V8, big G-Wagon looking thing with a pickup bed. Like, how can you not actually like one of these? But I did see the area you had to drive it was like the off-road muddy area. I did enjoy it, although I failed probably 3 times because I realized again that, oh yeah, blocked. You don't have to follow the waypoint, bro. You're not actually driving a little Prius, dude. Drive over the mountain, drive over the rock, and yeah, once I did end up doing that, it was luckily a lot easier to get this one done, and I would say a lot of players are like, yeah, dude, you don't have to follow the waypoint like that, and that was something I kept messing up on. But to be real though, I had a wonderful time going through the Top Gear story, and I'm honestly looking forward to going through the other stories as well. Let me know which one in the game is your favorite. I think I've only done this one. I might end up going through all the other ones here soon. That way I can, experience them, unlock the vehicles, get the stuff like that, and, obviously try to go through them and not struggle like I was a bit in this one. And who knows, maybe I'll even write a note down going, it's okay, Blocked, if you don't actually want to follow the said waypoint, you might need to skip it. Is probably one of the faster ways to do most of these. Again, guys, let me know your favorite story in the comments below. I am definitely planning on going through more of these and checking them out. And so far, after the Top Gear one, these are so dang fun.